ត្រូវតែបង្ហាញអំពីក្រុមជនជាតិដើមទាំងអស់ហើយយើងគឺជាជនរងគ្រោះដូចគ្នាបាទសូមអង្គប្រជុំជ្រាប
And I would like to congratulate Mr. Sarai Prak and Lok Sun Tour Sun Hua and Mapukat the headquarters here in Washington DC, and I'm basically from Cambodia, Kandal. In Cambodian we say Khmer Krom. So today I'm very happy to speak on behalf of all Cambodian Kandal to congratulate the Khmer Krom Federation for continue to struggle for the self-determination and fight for religious justice, human rights and freedom in Vietnam. And we, Cambodian American for Human Rights and Democracy, we also struggle ourselves in Cambodia to fight for democracy and human rights as well. And so we struggle in similar fashion, and I continue to congratulate the Khmer Krom for not giving up and continue to fight for their freedom and human rights. And again, I wish you continued success, and hopefully with the new headquarters here in Washington DC, with close proximity to the State Department and the Congress and the President of the United States of America, you will get, you will fulfill your mission. Again, congratulations. Thank you.
ប្រតិជន អស់លោកលោកស្រីនាងកញ្ញាជាទីគោរពតទៅនេះគឺជាចំណាប់អារម្មណ៍
the UN Charter, the aspects of self-determination for everyone, and that's absolutely crucial. And in that time of those decades, as we're here together, it reminds me, I see Grandma over there from Philadelphia, and Grandma, even though she's in Philadelphia with a small piece of land, she is harvesting so much food and feeding everyone in Philadelphia. So it's great to see her coming down and being with us today. It's great to see the monks, because I remember meeting him in Phnom Penh, being fearless and doing all the right things for all the right people. Even the dogs loved him and follow him everywhere throughout Phnom Penh. He's an amazing man of all the work that he does. And all the different monks that now we work together to make a television show and make sure the world knows about human rights. So it's amazing. It's also amazing to see all the kids now who are already at the United Nations. I remember Moni's first time at the UN, and now his daughter went for her 16th birthday, and his next daughter's getting prepared to go for Geneva next summer. So it's one of these things, it's not just because it's the right thing to do. It's family. And it's a family of freedom that demands a new direction, and also reminds the world that might be forgetting where we are now and what matters most. It is a movement of meaning, and it definitely points out how peace prevails overall, and that's the most essential part. And if we look at these 2 decades, and we stand here in this new headquarters, it's a headquarters for human rights. It's an embassy for equality and equity. And what it's saying to the world is those values that are enshrined in the UN matter. They matter now more than ever. And just last month, we were in San Francisco at the UN Charter celebration. It's the 80th anniversary of the UN Charter. If we reflect back on that, that spirit of San Francisco was every country can stumble, but everyone has to have something to defend themselves, but we all have a global responsibility of solidarity for one another. And that's when they created that in San Francisco. They did, 42 NGOs were invited from the United States to participate. And since then now, NGOs and people's movements around the planet have come together and made the UN function better. And that's what KKF does, organizing that. And in San Francisco, just a couple of weeks ago, you had the NGOs of the American Indian movement who took over on Alcatraz Island. You have the other indigenous peoples from around the planet who are working on the climate crisis. And we can definitely sense and see that the world is changing. But the values of indigenous peoples haven't, and they're the only voice that will save everyone going forward. And so it's an honor to be here with you. And this space will be a hub for human rights. I already know people who want to meet here in 2 weeks, the Human Rights Cities Alliance, and participate and come here. And each country and each movement will come here and contribute, and we'll remember the KKF. Looking at khua now reminds me just a year ago in Australia, we're organizing and bringing things together, and also the ASEAN People's Forum. And that's the point with KKF. From the community level here, all the way up to the global civil society, KKF is always there to make sure that the Khmer Krom voice is heard, but also to speak together with everyone. And as Sarah said, just last week, we were in the Human Rights Committee. And there at the Human Rights Committee, it was so important because we prepared the stakeholder submission. We lobbied and met with the 18 members. And most importantly, one thing they said was the genuine trusted voice of the Khmer Krom. When you produce information, people know it's directly from the people at home. But we always make sure that they're safe as well. That's absolutely crucial. And when you look at what happened at the Human Rights Committee, the language that you could see at 30 minutes, at 1 hour, and in the concluding comments, all mention indigenous people's rights, something that Vietnam wants to ignore. Vietnam just tried to make you invisible for centuries. But the one thing we can say here, as we're patting ourselves in the heat, is that you're invincible and that you will not wither, no matter how hot it gets. No matter what happens, you are here forever until everyone has the rights that are enshrined in the UN Charter and in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. One meeting I had last week was with the new ambassador for Guatemala. He's a Mayan, and he's been working at the UN forever. And he was one of our speakers when we had an event in Philadelphia to honor the creation of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. So this ripple of resistance, of resilience, of rights for everyone is recognized everywhere. So we thank all of you. We thank everyone who's a member. I'm good. Wow, it's cold. Very cold. We'll enjoy that a little bit later. But what is important is that everyone here who's around has always given their time. And we thank the community for doing that. We know the monks are always doing things to make sure that there's more can be done. And we now know too, though, it's a time that we can hand it on to the next generation. That we can look at Samon's children there, who I've seen when you were small, and I see you're creative with the Washington Monument, and you'll be able to do many more creative things that they'll build a foundation for your people. And it's great that we've already started to really change the landscape here. We have our own grassy space here. I'm sure papaya trees will be growing down here in just no time. It'll look like all the other homes that are all over the world. But I think what's so important is, even though this is so profound to have this space, we know everyone would do anything to just be able to return home. To be able to return home and be able to enjoy the meal that we're about to share, to be able to be with your family and friends and be on the ancestral lands that your people have always been on forever. And that's why this matters so much, because you've always made a home wherever you went, and you always reminded the people of being better. I can actually say, being with you in so many cities around the world, if you see someone who needs something, I always see people handing and giving them something. You've never forgotten who you are and what matters most. So as we are here at this inauguration of this center, it really is a new human rights hub. And I really see it'll be the future where we will have more events. And we're proposing now an annual advocacy day. And all the Khmer Krom from every state will come here, and we'll have trainings, and then we'll go meet with the members of Congress, the House and the Senate, and remind them about rights. Remind them about what matters most. and that this is what we're here for, to be able to make the world a better place with one another. And we have to stand up now, because the other side is your ancestral homelands will be impacted by the climate crisis. And nothing would be worse than having self-determination, having access back to your lands to be free and do what you want, and your lands being submerged. So we stand together against the climate crisis, against dictatorships and authoritarian playbooks that are being played out too often around the world, and making sure that we lead by example, that peace prevails, and that we make sure the world's a better place. So thank you so much, and it's an honor to see all of you again today, and thank you, and look forward to doing this forever into the future. Mahalo.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good, thank you. Jom Ripsu, Soksubai. It's hot today, but it's great. It's an honor to be here on this glorious day, because when we look out, we see and remember all the memories we've accumulated together. And it also is a sign of the next chapter for a new center that's focusing on compassion, that's focusing and rooted in courage. And as I stand here today, I even just think of last night. Last night, almost clear skies, but as we started and the monks chanted.
Partners that have come together to celebrate your new home here in Washington, D.C. As I said yesterday, that it is fitting that your new home is on the place of the indigenous people of Washington. I worked in Cambodia for many years for the UN, also Human Rights Watch, ad hoc other groups. And it was in Cambodia that I first met Khmer Krom, and I didn't really understand what is Khmer Krom. I'm in Campuchia, but later I traveled to Vietnam's Mekong Delta, and I saw beautiful the fruit, the rice, everything growing green, and so many beautiful pagodas, 400 very beautiful. And it was there that I understood that the heart, of the Khmer people is in the Mekong Delta, and that it is important to preserve your history, your culture, your language, your religion, and your human rights. So today, this office is making a link between your homeland, your ancestral homeland in Vietnam, with everything in Washington, D.C., all the embassies and the representatives and the U.S. government people and the international press. And so it is really a strong move for you to have an office here. I would like to note or to praise your dedication to your people in Vietnam, who it's difficult for them to speak out, and so I know that you never forget your people in Vietnam. Especially right now, there are 15 monks and human rights defenders in prison simply for exercising their rights in a peaceful way. Your partnership with other groups is only going to strengthen you further. And as noted, there are members of the Montagnard community from North Carolina here today. Vietnam will be Yalai, Dak Lak, Kontum, Yamau, Dini, Tunani, Jolun, Chumuikania. And I further, perhaps this home will serve as a center for solidarity among indigenous peoples who have similar struggles. So I'd like to congratulate you and give you best wishes on this important milestone. Thank you very much.
This weekend is more than a celebration. It is a powerful reminder of what a community can achieve when it refuses to be a race. It is another step forward in your long, determined journey towards recognition, self-determination, and justice. The opening of the Khmer Krom headquarters in Washington is not a gift that has handed to you. It is something that you all have built with your own hands, your own means, and your own vision. You did not wait for institutions to act in your behalf, but you moved forward, guided by belief, by unity, and commitment to your people. At a time when many governments, even those very long well established, are struggling with division, doubt, crisis, your clarity and purpose shines brighter. Where others hesitate, you advance. Where others question their future, you build yours together. You are not waiting for the history to catch up, you are writing it. I'm reminded of the words of the poet Antonio Machado, who said, "Caminante no hay camino, se hace camino al andar." Traveler, there is no path. The path is made by walking. And this is exactly what you are all doing. With every monastery you protect, every tradition you pass on, every petition you file, every gathering like this, you make the path. Even when the road ahead is uncertain, even when others say that the path does not or should not exist, you walk, and in walking, you shape your future. We are living in a world where many one powerful nations now face confusion and conflict. But your story offers something rare, purpose and hope. As we face global climate marked by rising instability, inequality, shrinking democratic space, it is your peaceful self-assertion is more than a resistance. It's a model for the world that we must build together. Because your struggle is not only for the Khmer Krom, it is for all of us who believe in a world rooted in dignity, inclusion, and justice. When you defend your language, you defend the right of all cultures to survive. When you protect your freedom of belief, you protect a core human right. When you stand up peacefully for your people, you remind us that the most powerful movements are not built with force, but with truth. At the UNPO, we see you, we hear you, and we walk with you, not only with words, but with actions. When I visited your new office yesterday, I felt what many of you must have felt, a sense of home. Not just a physical home, but a spiritual one. A place where identity can breathe, where young people can feel seen, when your story is told by those who live it. And I would like to say this with conviction. Also our home, our office, our UNP office in Brussels and in Geneva are also your home. And more than that, wherever there is a UNPO community, there is also a home for the Khmer Krom. You are not on the outside. You are part of this global family. These are not distant institutions. They are part of your political and emotional geography. They are spaces where your voice is not only welcome, but it is essential. Let's just be clear, this office is not the beginning of your journey. You have been walking this path for a long time. This is a moment of powerful continuation, a new step forward, built on years of advocacy, sacrifice, and perseverance. It is a foothold from which your message will grow. It is a lighthouse for others who are still waiting to be seen. And it is a message to decision makers around the world that the Khmer community, it is not invisible, not passive, and certainly not silent. So to every Khmer Krom person here today, and to your brothers and sisters across the world, I say this: you continue to build, even as the space around you is being closed. You continue to speak, even as others try to silence your voice. And you continue to stand, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. In this moment of growing, of repression, your courage matters more than ever. Don't give up. Every act of resistance, every word, every gathering, every effort to preserve your identity is a light in the darkness. And you are not alone. We walk beside you in Washington, in Geneva, in Brussels, and wherever justice calls. And we move forward not as a separate voices, but as the one family, the UNPO family, rooted in dignity, united in purpose, and committed to peace. Congratulations to all of you for this remarkable achievement. Let's carry forward together with strength, with vision, and with hope. Thank you.
Please with a little bit here. So, សូមលោកសឹងហួរសូមអញ្ជើញមកប្រកល់វត្ថុអនុស្សាវរីយ៍ជូនដល់អ្នកស្រីដែលតំណាងអង្គការ UNPO អញ្ជើញមកចូលរួមនៅថ្ងៃនេះ សូមជម្រាបអង្គប្រជុំឲ្យបាន
Khmer Krom in Campuchia Krom. We still maintain the position that Khmer Krom in Campuchia Kroms are the indigenous people, and therefore we entitled to the self-determinant rights, the self-identification rights as the indigenous people. And this office right here, we have asked to move forward and propel us the self-determination process even further, and therefore I just again want to thank everyone for being here and joining us today, and thank you very much. Thank you everybody. Thank you. បាទសូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណយ៉ាងជ្រាលជ្រៅចំពោះលោកសឹងហួរជាអធិបតីនៃសហព័ន្ធខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រោម ជាបន្តទៅទៀតនេះសូមអរលោកស្រីនាងកញ្ញាទាំងអស់សូមស្នូទៅដល់អបអរសាទរស្វាគមន៍លោក Paul Strauss ដែលជាតំណាងរាស្ត្រនៅ Washington DC នេះសូមគោរពអញ្ជើញ
Please welcome Mr. Paul Strauss, our DC Senator. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the special honor that you give me in allowing me to make remarks at this very historic and special occasion. It's my honor to be here and express my support for the self-determination of the Khmer Krom people, and to stand in solidarity with all those around the world who struggle for self-determination rights and human rights, and the right to freedom, the right to worship as you want, the right to speak the languages that you want, the right to express your own culture. It is especially fitting that your headquarters, this embassy, if you will, is here in the District of Columbia, the capital of the United States, but a part of the United States that is engaged in its own struggle for self-determination.
Thank you very much again.
សូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណយ៉ាងជ្រាលជ្រៅដល់ក្រុមរបាំយុវជនខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រមដែលបានបង្ហាញ ในสหព័ន្ធខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រមហើយនឹងអ្នកស្រីសឿងធីនិតជាប្រធានស្ត្រីនៃសហព័ន្ធខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រមហើយនឹងមេជាងលោកពូរស់ថៃដែលខំប្រឹងប្រែងជួយរៀបចំបានកែលម្អតាន់ពេលវេលាដើម្បីមានកម្មវិធីសម្ពោធឆ្លងខ្ញុំបកករណានៅឆ្លងព្រះមហាថេរមួយព្រះអង្គទៀតគឺបដិជគុណចន្ទថាសូមព្រះអង្គអនុមោទនឡើងវេទិកាដើម្បីធ្វើកម្មវិធី កាត់ខ្សែបូសម្ពុតដាក់ឲ្យប្រើប្រាស់ទស្សនការនៃសហព័ន្ធខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រោមកម្មវិធីកាត់ខ្សែបូនេះខ្ញុំបកករណាខ្ញុំបាទសូមជម្រាបថាចាប់តាំងពីពេលនេះតទៅបន្តពីកាត់ខ្សែបូរួចរាល់ហើយគឺទស្សនការនេះនឹងដំណើរការជាផ្លូវការសម្រាប់កិច្ចការងារតស៊ូមតិនៅឆាកអន្តរជាតិហើយទាមទារសិទ្ធិសម្រេចវាសនាខ្លួននៅខ្លួនឯងជូនពលរដ្ឋខ្មែរក្រោមនៅដែនដីកម្ពុជាក្រោមឥឡូវនេះការកាត់ខ្សែបូខ្ញុំនឹង
At this time, we move forward with the formal ribbon cutting of the KKF headquarters, led by our Federation's leadership alongside honored guests. With this ceremonial gesture, we open not just a building, but a new home for advocacy, unity, and the enduring spirit of the Khmer Krom people. Please begin.
ខ្ញុំប្រកាសណាខ្ញុំបាទសូមរតនានិមន្តនិងសូមគោរពអញ្ជើញតំណាងសហព័ន្ធខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រោមនិងតំណាងប្រសង់ខាងពុទ្ធិកសមាគមនិងខាងប្រជាជាតិចក្រកម្ពុជាសូមព្រះអង្គកាត់ខ្សែបូដូចតទៅអរលោកនាងកញ្ញាជាទីគោរពស្រឡាញ់រាប់អានឥឡូវនេះប្រសង់និងតំណាងសហព័ន្ធខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រោមកំពុងតែកាត់ខ្សែបូហើយខ្ញុំប្រកាសណាខ្ញុំបាទសូមអរជនានិមន្តប្រសង់គ្រប់ព្រះអង្គសូមនិមន្តជាយន្តតដើម្បីប្រោះព្រំឲ្យមានសេរីសុខស្ដីជោគជ័យសពគ្រប់បែបយ៉ាងក្នុងការកាត់ខ្សែបូនេះសូមអរជនានិមន្ត
Yamule Sakyananande Vatano Evan Kwan Vijayon Sujayamangale Aparai Chitapalan Ke Saise Pathavipakare Abhiseke Gapatau Pamatatisanya Khatang Sumang Kelang Sapapyatang Sohoditang Sukatna Samohotau Jasayatang Sapatang Ketnang Kaya Kamang Viaja Kamang Patakitang Patakitang Matlo Kamang Patnijite Patakitang Vanala Pantante Patakitne Lesakyanang Nandewatano Ewan Kwang Vikiyo Hao Jaya Sujayamang Kale Aparai Chitapalang Kesaisem Kesat Papothianang Agyat Pata Pamatatisanya Khatang Sukmang Ketlang Supapyatang Suhotitang Sukatnau Sukmohotau Jasayatang Sapatang Ketnang Kaya Kamang Viaja Kamang Patakitnang Patakitnang Matlo Kamang Patnaiti Te Patakitna Patakitna Nikatwana Lapantante Saganang Nantewatano Ewan Kwang Vijayo Hao Jaya Sujayamang Kale Aparai Chitapalang Kale Abhiseke Sapapothianang Agapata Pamatatisanya Khatang
នឹងរបស់គណៈកម្មការនយោបាយសហព័ន្ធខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រោមគឺ Senator បានអញ្ជើញមកដល់ហើយ ហើយយើងទាំងអស់គ្នាសូមស្វាគមន៍ប៉ុន្តែគាត់កំពុងតែរកកន្លែងចតឡាននៅឡើយទេតំណាងនៅសហព័ន្ធខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រោមនៅទីក្រុងភាឡាដេលហ្វីបើសិនជាបានអញ្ជើញមកគឺលោកយេងតូនសូមអញ្ជើញមកកាន់វេទិកាដើម្បីធ្វើចំណាប់អារម្មណ៍ខ្លះខ្ញុំប្រកាសណាខ្ញុំបាទសូមជម្រាបថាកម្មវិធីជាច្រើនដែលរៀបចំឡើងគឺការទទួលខុសត្រូវរបស់ប្រធានតំបន់សហព័ន្ធខ្មែរកម្ពុជាក្រោមប្រចាំPhiladelphia រដ្ឋ Pennsylvania បាទសូមជំនួយទៅដល់អបអរសាទរជូនលោកយេងតូននោះបាទ
គណៈជាដំបងសូមថ្លែងគុំ